Swara Saleh of the Nerds of Color. Sana Amanat, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you so much. I love it. Nerds of Color. I love you guys.
We love you. So I actually just want to thank you in the first place because you were a co-creator of like a character that I and millions of people love so much. And I just can't imagine my life without Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. So thank you for
Oh,
all
thank
the amazing
you.
work you did.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
So she's come out. Miss Marvel is a yeah, it's a story and a character that's so important to so many of us who are Pakistani, South Asian, Muslim, or Swana. And how would you say the show is a celebration of those communities?
I mean, it's very much a celebration of those communities. I mean, if you've seen the first couple of episodes, I think we try to bring in so many different elements of the Muslim community, the South Asian community, and just kind of flavor it throughout and just make it a part of her everyday life and the backdrop of her life, which is I think what we did in the comics so well. And I think it's a bit more amplified, obviously, in live action. So yeah, from the look, from the clothing to the casting to the music, even I think we try to bring different aspects of the culture and that richness to the show and just make it just another textural piece in the story.
Yeah, that's absolutely evident from the episodes I watched. And how would you say, especially I would say like as she's developed in the last like several years, what would you say Kamala Khan stands for in a way that's different from most of her other heroes? And how will she stand out that way in the show?
I think she stands for oh my god, a lot of I mean, I think a lot about this. I'm like, I don't know how to narrow her down into one thing. And I think one of my favorite things is about this kind of, you know, young woman who is initially perceived as silly and idyllic. And yet what's so lovely about her is that she might look out at the world and see, rainbows and, animated flying superheroes because that's what she wants to be a part of. But it's really about like this hopefulness in the way that she looks at the world, this hopefulness that things can become better and that you can be a part of making them better. And that's ultimately what makes Kamala so great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have like a bit of more of a sort of serious, like systemic question because, there's so many awful things going on in the world today. And I think something a lot of us, especially in the Muslim community, have been paying attention to is global Islamophobia and how that manifests itself worldwide. And I'm curious if you think like with this show, with this degree of visibility for Muslims worldwide, and the themes that it tackles, do you think it might be effective at maybe helping combat global Islamophobia that way?
Look, I hope so. I mean, look, this is just kind of one part of the larger mission of trying to educate people and educate communities on sort of, not otherizing really many people of color, but specifically Muslim communities and trying to get to know them and understand them and that like they're sort of just like you and I. I mean, it's such a simple idea and you think it's so simple and that we should be beyond this and then like you sort of look at what's happening in the world and you're like, oh, we're not beyond this. We're not there yet. People still very much think that, Islam is associated with terrorists and that, Islam believes in oppressing women. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions that I think hopefully we'll try to dissuade in the course of getting people getting to know Kamala and her family and her world. I mean, I hope, inshallah, but um you know we'll see what people say. I just really hope, the one thing I'll say since I'm on the Nerds of Color podcast, been meaning to like say this, is like I just really hope like our community, specifically the Muslim community, the brown community, really like stands up and supports this show, because it's very easy to say negative things and be and just say, oh, you missed that, oh my god, how stupid are they didn't know that, or how, you know what I mean, like just be very nitpicky about things. And it's like we've worked really hard to try to be really smart and specific and educated and well researched, and just to bring that nuance and detail to the show. And and maybe we made mistakes along the way, who knows, but I feel like this is for us, this is for this community, And, I just want people to know that like we do it for the love of our community and the desire to celebrate it. And so I just hope that everyone embraces it and embraces us and celebrates the show because it's really for you guys. So yeah, that's my hope. I just really hope people stand with us.
I'm sure they will. Thank you so much, Sana, and have a great rest of your day and take care. And congratulations on all your success. Bisha K. Ali, my name is Swara Saleh of the Nerds of Color. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Oh my gosh, what a pleasure, Swarad. Like, I love Nerds of Color. You're doing God's work. I love it. I'm so excited to speak to you. Love your t-shirt, love your whole vibe. I'm so excited to talk to you. Let's go.
Oh my God, this is amazing. Okay, so Miss Marvel is a story that has been lauded as being anti-assimilation at its core, with Kamala realizing that she needs to embrace herself, her family, and religion to succeed as a hero. So without getting into spoilers, how will the show convey that message?
We'll do it in it. We'll do it. No spoilers, but she really goes into a journey of it's about herself and who she is, and isn't about who she is relative to other people, which is what I think is the assimilation storyline. I don't know. I don't care about that. I'm not really interested in assimilation anymore. I'm too old for that. The time has passed for Bisha K. Ali. I'm really much more interested in like falling in love with who you are and the parts of you that that outside perspective might try to shame you for, or shrink, or demonize in some way. I'm like, pull all of that away. Thank you very much. I'm not the problem. You lot are the problem. And I think her falling in love with everything that she is and who she is, that's, I don't know, that's part of what I hope comes across in this show.
Absolutely. And what was important to you about representing Pakistanis and Muslims in the show, especially to audiences outside these particular communities that are still so marginalized and face so much prejudice worldwide?
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's a thing. I wish I could do every single version of this story, But in our version of this story, I think what was important to us was to make it part of the fabric of her day-to-day life. We're not pointing at it. We're not exotifying it in any way. This is just what she does. She goes to masjid. She hangs out. Then you see Nakia and Kamala doing wudu together. Like, those are just things that are normal parts of her life. And you can infer what the meaning is by watching it, I think. And we're not trying to over-explain the language. We're not trying to over-explain what's happening. It's just happening. Go with us on this ride. You'll figure it out, I promise. And if you can't figure it out, Google it. So that was kind of the whole team's approach was, come into our world. It's lovely here and you're welcome. That's how we wanted to approach it.
That's amazing. And I suppose, how do you particularly, besides like the identity aspects of it, obviously, how do you particularly relate to Kamala Khan?
Oh my gosh, I'm a massive nerd. Like, I grew up just a nerd. I'm such a nerd for sci-fi. I grew up on like 80s sci-fi. Well, not all of that. I grew up on 80s sci-fi, but it was old at that point. I grew up on 90s sci-fi. I grew up on like 2000s. Like, I'm part of nerd culture for my teenhood years. And that's something that in my teenage years, it wasn't like cool and acceptable. Whereas today, it really is cool to be a sci-fi kid, which is like good for you guys. But I did not get the benefits of that. But I can relate to Kamala in that I understand that passion. I understand what fandom is because I'm part of fandom. And I understand like the love and dedication that these fans have for this material. That's how I personally relate to it. And I think that's how everybody on this show relates to it. And I really think that's what connects every kind of audience member and everybody who grew up with the MCU being part of their visual culture and language will appreciate the connectivity with Kamala.
Yeah, absolutely. After watching the first two episodes, she really brings, especially with Iman, she brings that vivacity, that passion that everyone will relate to her for. Bisha K. Ali, thank you so much for sitting with the Nerds of Color today, and take care and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you so much, Swara. Take care. It's been lovely to speak with you.
The activist directors, comments and the lectures, fanboys, professional artists and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC in full color.